I got disconnected there for. You were saying though, as far as like catching like more points, the more times you went back to it.
Necessarily say it got better every time I listen to it, but I definitely like it's like sometimes I feel like getting into like these type of like getting not even I ain't gonna say conversational, but like getting deep into this type of stuff, and then sometimes I don't, and it's like one of those. It's one of the.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the points brought up could be better, but then I mean I feel like it was also one of the things where he used it as a way to kind of so all the stuff that we hear on a regular basis. I feel like he made that a point to put it in one.
Yeah, and I think one of my favorite parts about it, and so probably better in terms, because I think as a song, I don't know if it holds up like super well. I think it's definitely, I haven't watched it outside of the music video. I don't know if I ever would. Like, I don't know if I would ever listen to that song, just be like, oh, I want to hear. And I'll be straight up, like, I didn't listen to Jordan. I knew who he was, but I didn't listen to Jordan Lucas like that. So, like, when I see, oh shit, I'm gonna miss the fuck out of that tackle. Uh, I can't see or envision a place or a time where, like, I'm just listening to that song. But I think in terms of the effects of the video and the purpose of the song, I think it's better the more you listen to it. And I think one of the points that a friend brought up that was really good, really cool, I thought, was like, even with like some of the extreme shit he says, it almost makes you, if you're someone who's only been in a certain kind of environment, you only hear one side of the one point of view, you might not think something sounds crazy or something sounds weird because like it's either your parents telling you or like your friends or like your neighborhood. Like everybody says that or everybody talks like that, so it's like it's normal. And then when you hear it and you hear the other side, and it's like the extreme points, are like, yo, that really does sound crazy. Like to just not like someone, um, because of some shit, like because like the way they look or like who what their religion is. It's like it really makes you feel like, yo, that really just sound like you just sound like you wilding out, like you just like you sound like a crazy person.
Well, not only that, but it's like one of the things where it's like I I honestly feel like most black like I feel like the average black person ain't really got an issue with like with the white people. But I feel like on the day to day basis we go places we might feel like we feel like we being looked at a certain they looking at us a certain way or they judging us for whatever like for stuff as simple as what we got on. So I think that most of the times our actions, not all of our actions, because I mean niggas be wilding, but
Yeah,
a lot of our actions, or the way we might come off to a lot of them is because you know we we on the defense right off the bat we on defense.
100%, no, 100%. And I always exclude the like the wild. Like if you're doing some like, there's a funny video. Shout out to Long Beach Griffey. He's got a really funny video about Free the Homie, and he talks about a dude who like shot up a place, stole a child, did all this crazy shit, and he was like, Free the Homie. I'm not defending nobody. Hey, if you steal a child, you a fucked up human. Um, like I'm not defending nobody who's like legit wilding out, because if you legit wilding out doing some crazy shit, I don't give a fuck what color you are. Like nigga, like go away. But if you where it affects is like the average person, whereas like I feel like there is, excluding maybe like really older people who actually grew up at a time where like like niggas just really like they just weren't people, excluding them, because I don't know if we ever gonna really reach that particular person, nor do I think I care if I reach that particular person. I like, especially in our generation, I think the average person, I think our age group, I don't think the average person is racist. Like I think it's at this point it's just seen as like being a racist, like you was the wild and out dude, like you the dude who's like, wow, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you that you gotta feel this way, like personally,
Well, yeah,
at
no,
least.
I can agree with you in that aspect of like the kids now from I say the kids from like both generations though. Yeah, I mean not both generations, but I say the kids from both races. At
Yeah.
this point, I don't feel like, because I feel like I mean even with the music and all of that stuff, I feel like it's so as much as we talk about these mumble rappers and all of that, I feel like somebody like a Lil Uzi or whatever is probably more appealing to both sides. I mean, partly because of how he dresses, and all these dudes, I guess, are supposedly emo and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't buy
So
the emo bullshit's weird.
yeah, but whatever. But I'm thinking, I'm thinking that a lot of these rappers and all the little fucking dances they do when I go, well, I'm going to the stores and I'm seeing like little white kids doing the dances or the little black kids doing, everybody doing the same shit.
Yeah, no,
So
100%.
I don't, and and usually a lot of the stuff is like dances created by the black culture that the white people might like or whatever, which it ain't, it ain't no problem with that. So I think right now, race. I mean, as far as the kids go, it ain't as bad. But I think the problem comes in when you have the adults that still
Yeah.
act that way or still feel that way.
No, 100%. And that's why, like, especially with like older adults, I'm like, if you like 67 years old and you still like that, for me personally, I'm not saying that like it's not a problem, but I just feel like why even waste my breath when like I'm not going to change your mind. Like you going to die that way, and you're just going to die a hateful ass
Yeah.
person. So I'm like
See,
I'm not even giving my time for them personally.
me on the other hand, I'd be like I don't even like being in not, I'm not like a nervous person. I don't get nervous easily. I'm not like too worried about, I pay attention to where I'm at, but I'm not necessarily worried about where I'm at. But I go places and you could just, some of these old people, a lot of times you could just tell.
Yeah, no,
And I
100%.
just, and I gotta go, and I be thinking in my head like you can say something crazy if you want to. I'll snuff your old ass.
Yeah. No, and there's like and I think we talked about even though like as far as yo, what the fuck? That's two straight drop passes. Um, as far as like being aware of your environment, that's some shit like you always gonna have to do regardless, even of just like the racial tension. Because we talked about it as like if you in an area with a bunch of white people, you won't feel because you was I actually want you to retell the story. 'Cause I thought it was a really good example of the dude who works with you, who was doing the
Yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah. I got you. Okay, so basically, oh fuck. But yeah, basically, it was a situation. I was at work. I do utility work. We do utility work at my job. So one of the guys, my boss, he was out of town, so I was in charge while he was gone. One of the guys was working in a predominantly white area. He isn't. I mean, the guy who was out there, he's mixed. He black and Mexican or whatever. He was out there working. He was walking around the yard trying to find the lady's gas meter or whatever. Got a bright green, high visibility vest on, high vis hat. We got company trucks out front with the company names, orange cones, and all of that good stuff out front. So, he was walking around looking for the gas meter. And most of the time when we out doing this utility work, usually the homeowners are the one that's calling about the work. It's either the homeowners or some, if they having some work being done by like outside contractors. So he was walking around the house trying to find the gas meter so he could verify a gas line. And when by the time he got back to the front, he got a cop. There's a cop out there waiting on him. So the cop asked him what was going on and everything. So he called. He was explaining to the cop what he was doing. The cop was being an asshole. He gave the cop all the information he needed, and then all of a sudden the cop called for backup for whatever reason. So now the guy calls me. He said, "Yeah, basically, the guy called me explaining the situation, telling me, oh yeah, I called, they called the cops over here and they called him for backup for some reason. So and I mean he's a minority, technically. So it's one of the things where this was just last year, and with all the shit going on in these recent years, you never know, especially when you calling for backup for a utility technician. So
Especially when it's your job, like that shit is ridiculous.
well,
Like,
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We doing utility work, and you calling for backup when you know what we do because we're in these areas on a regular basis. So the guy called me, and then I come over there, and I go over there, and a couple other guys, we all get over there, and the lady By this time, the lady decides to come outside, and she, we explained to her what the guy was doing, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know what you seen that you were walking around the back." And I'm like, well, ma'am, it's 12 o'clock, and it's noon. It's broad daylight outside, and I mean, not only that, but you could have opened the window and asked.
Yeah, yeah, nah, for real. Like,
And I honestly feel like had it been a white guy or anything else, I feel like she probably wouldn't have hesitated to open the window or come outside and ask what was going on.
yeah, nah,
So it's like that's just one of those situations where it's like I said, you kind of always want to be cautious as far as the areas you working in, even if we work in these same areas every day. That's like I tell the guys, knock on every door. If you got to go in somebody's yard, knock on the door. Let them know that you're gonna be back there or whatever. Because and you would think you would you would think it's just as simple, but then it's like at the same time I understand because there's people that these green vests that we wear or whatever. Anybody can go buy one of those from Walmart or whatever and say they're a utility worker.
and
So it's like
100%.
I get it, but I don't feel like it calls for the cops to be called without any type of communication.
100%, and especially for like the backup to be called. That was like, and I'm one of those people who
Well,
it's
that was
like,
the cop being a dick.
yeah. Well, it's like even like because they get brought into this conversation too because of shit that's been happening, and it's like I'm a big believer. Like I said, like for me, um, I've always believed it's like, and we've talked about it before. Like you can't blame everybody for the actions of one. Do I think every police in America is a dickhead? No. But anytime they're being a dickhead, anytime they're wrong, they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, not hiding behind, oh, I'm a cop and this was the case. Like, to be putting that out there. That is what I think no matter who you are, what you are, no one's above accountability. No one's above. If you fucked up, you should have to deal with whatever your fuck up is.
Yeah, you should be held accountable for whatever actions whatever actions you make.
Like 100%. And so it's like, um, with that, it's like, and I don't want to just sit there and like, because we had talked about it on the last one, where it's like, there's all situations like you got that, and there's all situations, you had a bunch of funny ass stories, but we'll save those for a different stream, where it's like, if you in the wrong part of the hood, you gotta, keep your head out, look both ways, and niggas might just say run, and you gotta run. Like,
oh yeah. Did I tell those stories on the last one?
Nah, but that was just us fucking around. But we got. I want to say those for
I never
different.
tell those on one episode.
Nah, that was one of those. But that's a classic story. But we gotta save that for another one. That shit was. But like, I just wanted people to know it's like it's not just like if I'm gonna say like you can't in the same way as like if you have an encounter with like a black person, Mexican person, white person, and just cause like that encounter was bad, you had a bad experience, like you can't be taking it out on like all of them. I feel like if I'm gonna say that and to avoid like personal hypocrisy, like I have to have that same mentality when it comes to police officers, when it comes to people like that.
Being cautious is not the same as being racist. Being cautious is watching your surroundings. Being racist is it's a big difference because it's like I said, I'm cautious everywhere I go. I mean, it might be a different type of cautious.
No, that's what I wanted to.
If I'm in a, no, go ahead.
Is that well, that's what I was trying to like point is like if you the reason why like being cautious is something you always gonna have to have. Whatever neighborhood you in, like you always gonna have the kind of the feeling it's like, okay, well if I'm in this kind of neighborhood I gotta feel this way. If I'm in this kind of neighborhood I gotta feel this way. And that we're never gonna avoid. And that is and I think that gets kind of lost in the whole race conversation where it's like, it's like, oh, black people only feel uncomfortable in like white neighborhoods. It's like, no, this niggas
if I ain't within like 3 or 4 blocks on the block I was like grew up in, and it's like, yeah, I don't know y'all, but that's just like and when I'm at work, because I work when I'm at work I travel through about 10 to 12 different cities a day, so it's like I'm in different neighborhoods and I'm working, so it's like when I'm in white neighborhoods I'm like, oh shit, they might call the cops on me for something for no reason whatsoever, and it ain't me being racist. Like I don't see every white person that think they gonna call the cops on me. But in the back of my head, I'm like, all right, I know it's probably more likely over here. Or like if I'm in a black neighborhood, I'm like, and I see a group of guys at the corner or whatever, I'm like, all right, I need to keep my eye on them.
Yeah,
But
nah.
it ain't nothing against those guys specifically, but it's just as me being cautious, as me being aware. It's like, and like I said, it's not me being scared. Like I ain't gonna say, oh well, I see those guys over there. I ain't gonna do this job right now because I think they're gonna do something. It's just one of the things to where it's like, you know, one of the things we go over at my job is shit. Pay attention to any hazards. So like a group of 15 guys, that's a potential hazard. So I need to pay attention to that. I need to make
No, 100%.
just in case. But I ain't, I don't pull up thinking like, oh shit. But everywhere you go, you're gonna pay attention. But when you scared, that's a different problem.
Yeah, no, and that's and like I said, the big thing, and it's even like this right now. It's like we having like a 20-minute conversation about it, and it's like it's anytime you have a conversation and it's from two different views, whether you believe like that side is right or wrong, it's like when it just comes from two different views, excluding the extreme ones, obviously. Like if you fucking with Hitler, we got an issue. But like you have to be willing to like you have to be willing to listen to the other side, even if you listen and just realize, okay, that's some bullshit. It don't work like that. Like fuck that. Like
I mean, you can disagree. You can listen and disagree.
100%. But it's like so many people. And I think I brought up last time where it's just like, especially all this shit going on now, is it's like when I hate, and like I without being aggressive, like I'm like an anarchist. I just don't give a fuck about the government, and like I don't think them niggas saving me. I don't like. That's just I'm not waking up thinking like, oh, someone's gonna write this bill and that's gonna save my life, and like I get up and handle my shit. And so,
I would disrespect the government, but I think YouTube might pull us down for
that. like I said, I'm not wishing no harm on nobody in there. It's just like that's just not me. I'm not waking up thinking like, oh, they gonna pass this bill and do this.
Except POTUS.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about him. I don't even want to bring him up.
That's why we abbreviate it.
Yep. And so like, that's when you got niggas knocking at your door like, we heard you said what?
Nah, I ain't mean POTUS like him. I meant POTUS like the flower.
Yeah. Yo, how the fuck he picked that off? Yo, I'm throwing mad interceptions this game. I'm like heated. Anyway, my stats all fucked up. Gonna be fucked up after this game. But like just kind of like instilling people is like but you gotta have the conversation. So like if that video did anything, and I always kind of get a little heated, but I'm like, and I think black people even like kind of do it more, and not in a bad way, but like music is such a big part of the culture, and as dope as it is when someone says something where it's kind of like eye opening. At the same time, you shouldn't have to hear a certain song just for you to feel some kind of way.
It shouldn't take for a rapper to do that shit to make you feel some type of way.
100%. And so, like, what I think is dope, I think the conversations need to be had
consistently.
Oh yeah, no, like it's such a big thing. It's like, like I didn't need to hear, like the charities that I mess with aren't probably like the regular. I usually go for like more when I do donate to charity. It's like local charities and like people that I actually can see, not just like donating like the big ones. And it's like, but I don't need to see like, I don't even know if they'd be considered necessarily part of the culture, but I'm using them because they have a big group. Like when Black Eyed Peas dropped "Where's the Love," and then when they dropped the remix, I don't need them to drop that song to know that it's like you just supposed to be like good to fellow people, right? Like you don't gotta love everybody, you don't gotta like everybody, but there's just a certain part of you that should just be good to people, like.
Well, yeah, but then that's like even when you start talking about even getting back towards the race issues and everything is like you got everything that's going on now, and then when you think about even when Obama was in office, it was almost like I think after a while everybody forgot like what Bush did when he was in office and how bad Bush fucked shit up. And I think, and then it was just like everybody, everybody was like, oh, it's because of Obama and Mr. President, the president now. Every chance he get, he say, oh, Obama this, Obama that. But that's like when what show was that J Cole performed that show on? That music
Letterman.
shit on Letterman, and he had a line in there that said, what did he say? They he said they get like we got a captain. They gave him the keys to the ship and then tell him that the ship was sinking or something like that. It's like all the issues he had were inherited. They weren't issues that were created by him, but it's
No.
like he's the one, he's the one getting the blame for it. But then it's like that's like all right, with me being from Chicago, the gun violence in Chicago is real big. Like a few years back, it was literally like a freight train just got the train just so coincidentally broke down in the hood in the middle of Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, until they broke in and stole all the guns out. Then all of a sudden it was back up and running. But but it's one of those things. It's like how do how does something like that happen?
No, and I'm not defending. Like I said, like I'm not defending. I'm not trying to attack. I'm just like I said, my personal beliefs, my personal belief, which is it's like they gonna talk shit about like anyone, like no matter who, like being the president just is a shitty job, like. Cause you won't get blamed for anything. Like part of your job is just to get blamed for shit, right? Like regardless of who you are. And well, some people do take the job and do some fuck shit.
Donald Trump been trying to quit since he got the job. He ain't think he was gonna win. he, he had that look he had that old shit look on his face when he won.
He was like, "This worked." Oh, but. Yeah, it's like
this little foreign bitch don't know how to be the first lady.
And yeah, so it's like I don't know, but like I said, but even with that, I think to recap the whole thing is just like you shouldn't need someone to have to give it the conversation, but the conversation is necessary if this is the first time you've decided to have that conversation. Really think about those topics. I question your actual thought capacity. And, but I'm glad you're having the conversation now. And, like, the big thing is, like, we just gotta have the conversation. No matter what side you on. Like, you gotta be willing to talk to someone. Otherwise, this shit just turns into, I'ma shout, you shout, and then someone getting guns. Like, literally. Like, I don't know where it goes beyond that. But, like, we all people.
I think the thing is, nobody really, a lot of times, the people that need to have these conversations are probably the people without any black friends to talk to or white friends to talk to, because it's because they feel whatever way they feel. So it's almost like one of the things. How do you go up to somebody you don't know and start this type of conversation?
100%, which is why like I love like my personal group of friends. Like it's because like I've got my 3 people here. It's like I got one who's Native American, the other 2 are white. I come on here, like, I got you, PVG, like, I've been very lucky in, like, the sense of, like, I've just been around a whole bunch of different ethnicities. Like, I was raised by white people. I've got a big Mexican side of my family. Like, I've just always been around a bunch of different races and heard a bunch of different, like, opinions, topics, and stuff like that. So, to me, like, the conversation's kind of easier. Because, like, I've just grown up naturally having this conversation. Like, it's yeah, we different because you do this, I do this, but it's not saying, like, you wrong, I'm right, We go to Thanksgiving, we might have a completely different menu than what they have if you have it at a Mexican Thanksgiving. Like, it's different, but it's not wrong. Like, but.
Yeah, I was raised around all hood niggas.
Yeah.
But, I chose a different path.
And that's one of like the big things. And if y'all don't follow me on Twitter, y'all really do, because I spit knowledge on Twitter. Like, I actually really loved. I thought of shit the other day, and I thought it was clever. It's like it's easier to jump on a bandwagon than think of a band than to drive the bandwagon. think for yourself. Like, too many people just hear something and they like, okay, that's 100% right. Oh, I'm doing this. And like, they won't even have an opinion on something until someone else says an opinion on it, and they're like, okay, cool, that's my opinion now too. Like, yeah, people just need to think for themselves. Like I said, this video should not have been what made you have this conversation or made you think, oh, I can't have this conversation. Like, you should just know as a human being, it's like, oh, I can have this like, this is shit, like, we need to figure out. Yo, I am so irritated right now. I've thrown 6 picks in this game. Aaron Rodgers is playing like some ass. I'm playing like ass. This is terrible.
And if you in your early to mid 20s, you could think, and you feel like you got any type of racism, and you could thank your parents for that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Definitely taught at home.
Oh, 100%. Like, if you in your early 20s, you shouldn't eat, like, there's no reason anyone should have had it, but it's like, especially if you growing in like oh gosh, I hate this. I always feel like this term comes out wrong, but like, legally speaking, this is just legally speaking, because I know a bunch of people are going to sit there and like clown the shit out of this. Legally speaking, if you are born post-slavery, like you were not a part of this world during legal slavery, as far as what the 13th Amendment abolished, you should not have like a racist bone in your body. Unless you just some dumb middle schooler who's like some Mexican kid stole your fucking lunch money. He was like, yo, fuck that nigga for a day. Like, legit, like.
Unless your parents drilled it in your head.
Basically, like.
And their parents drilled it in their head. So you can thank them, they're assholes.
Yeah. Real talk.
Tell them I said it.
Tell them to tweet them.
At me. _.
Oh, all right, so now
it's all beef.
Hey, that should be your little background picture and shit. Yo, I'm gonna have to switch this fucking setting to all rookie. I'm getting my ass whooped right now. I'm down 19-7. Damn.
Fucking Devin Booker been going off, yo.
He got 108 points his last 2 games in Boston.
He just scored 46. He just scored 46 points and grabbed 8 boards on Joel Embiid.
Devin Booker,
and they got the W. 17 to 32 from the field, 5-8 from 3.
The best player that came out of Kentucky that year. Fuck Karl Anthony Towns. I'm repping that. By the way, if you watch this on YouTube, I know I didn't do my show this morning. I've been on a really weird fucking schedule, but I will have 3 shows for you this week. Yo, I can't. Okay. This is terrible. This is like one of the worst performances I've ever played. Like, this is ass. This looks like my little cousin's playing. But anyway, I know I will have 3 shows for y'all this week: Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's just a different schedule. I've been really tired. I didn't get home until fucking 5 a.m. last night, and I had to go to work at 6. So I've been on a weird ass schedule. Okay, and they about to score a touchdown. All right, that's cool. But yeah, so if you're watching for Hard Foul, I'll be back on Wednesday.
He'll be back Wednesday. I'll be back whenever. Probably the weekend.
Most likely.
We'll be streaming, talking this shit 2 days out the week. Mondays, and then another day will just be random. Possibly Saturdays or Sundays, though. We almost didn't make it this Monday because I ate a good burrito today and I was tired of shit.
Like, I haven't been asleep since Sunday 8 a.m. So, nigga kind of tired. But, so if you've watched a couple of the other episodes, though, and you've seen us do, like, the rapper list, and we was comparing top songs on Complex, I have a Complex rant, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm going to save that for another one. But, I got a lot about Complex I want to rant about.
He got bars for Complex.
I'm gonna drop a diss track for him, like. But before we get there, the one list, and this list I will say is one of their more credible ones. Like, I won't clown them for this particular list. This list is better. It's kind of different because I can't really speak on the whole thing, but it's by far a better list, right? Like, it's not the bullshit of fucking What the fuck was J. Cole's? They had J. Cole's #1 song. The shit he did. Oh fuck. I'm getting my ass whooped. Like I'm just can't play right now. Fuck.
Damn, yeah.
I have 7 sacks. Like this game just is. This is what happens when. Anyway, so said this list is Complex ranked the best rapper year by year, since 1979 was when it starts. And so
I believe so. Which we ain't, of course, we're not going back that far because we wasn't born yet.
yeah, that's why I was gonna do like a couple like quick shout outs and just like like.
I mean, yeah, we could read them off, but any other stuff that we kind of weren't part of, we're not gonna talk about it. We can just run down the list of the names or whatever. Maybe some old folks will be listening to this eventually.
Basically,
and decide that they want to, and decide that they want to agree or disagree.
So yeah, so just to kind of give some context on the full list, what the fuck was it? I'm scrolling through this shit right now. I'm also trying to get my ass whooped. So yeah, basically, so we obviously like this shit goes back way farther than we could ever, even kind of comprehend. So just a couple shout outs here real quick. Grandmaster Caz was the first dude in 1979. When y'all was, you was bumping his shit. I wasn't a thought back then.
I'm thinking about kids back now.
You got Curtis Blow, 1980.
See, and it's kind of dope because it's like even if we can't really touch on the state of music, but it's like you see some of these names, we know some of the songs.
Yeah, like Run DMC. Run is in 83. Also, I think 84. Yep. LL Cool J's 85. You think is LL Cool J overrated to you? I've heard a lot of people say he's overrated.
Overrated? I don't know if I can agree with that, but then I would have to be more familiar with his catalog. Like I've heard a lot of LL Cool J's music. I mean, to me, he's nice.
I think he's and this is like I don't even think I have underrated or underrated for him. I think he's more impact than catalog guy personally. Whereas like I think his total impact on rap was bigger than necessarily an individual song or catalog or album type of deal. Like almost like when and I don't want to compare him to these two necessarily, but like people compare like Biggie and Pac. Biggie's usually considered like the better lyricist, but Pac's like impact, his style, the way he was rapping was considered like that's what he brought to the table. Whereas Biggie was just like spazzing on every song he was on. So I think LL Cool J is more like Pac, where it's like presence, style, all that stuff came together. KRS-One, shout out to KRS-One, who we talked about this before. Like he could arguably be like the greatest of all time. But that's just because he's in that special pioneer class of like we just don't have it today without him. So it's like he's always been a hard guy for me to rank, especially like when I didn't live through it. Shout out to the guy who inspires my personal favorite, who I think is the GOAT. 1987 was Rakim. I don't think you can deny Rakim as far as like talent, skill, just how crazy he was. So what's another one up here? Let's see. We got Big Daddy Kane's in there. Ice Cube's in there.
Don't skip over Slick Rick.
Slick Rick. I'm not even trying to support you. I'm just literally just scrolling through like really fast and names to pull up. So I'm not trying. I'm not. There's a
Slick Rick was in 1988.
Like I'm not trying to disrespect nobody. Redman's in there at 92. I know you probably big.
Shout out to Redman.
You probably a bigger Redman fan than I am.
Redman got bars for days.
Snoop Dogg's in 93. 94. Nas, I gotta throw that one out there. That's the GOAT in my opinion.
That's all right. We saying that Nas disrespect going on.
Yeah, it is. We gonna get into the disrespect factor, but we gonna run over the list here really quick. Like I said, when we get to 2000s, we'll break down basically 2000 and beyond, and then from there, we'll go into like the niggas we feel like are getting disrespected. This is just kind of homage to the greats kind of deal. Which anybody who's been on this list, by the way, if you're considered the best rapper of like the 80s or 90s, you're like, you kind of are, like, you're why we're here now. So this is no disrespect to anybody that either didn't make the list, was like top 2 or 3 in the year, or who actually won it. Like, these guys are all like low key legends in their own right. Like, see, like honorable mentions like Scarface is on here, Notorious Big, Big, like Big's 95, 96 is Pac. 97
is Biggie again.
Yeah, that one I can't even deny that. Are you rocking Biggie or Pac as far as like who you think is better?
I'm more of a Biggie fan. I'm more like, I mean, I'm just more into bars. And that's not disrespecting Tupac, but I feel like Biggie, yeah, you know, I feel like he had more bars.
I think Biggie's better. I like more Tupac songs. 98 is DMX. I'm gonna come off like that disrespectful nigga on this one. I'm not a huge DMX person. I understand what he is, who he is, what he means, but I'm probably even on like the DMX is overrated train, even if I'm just by myself. But not here to disrespect the man. Just saying. That's my unpopular opinion and shit.
Won't be no DMX slander on here either.
99 is Hov.
He dropped the Rough Riders anthem. That year.
Which that we're gonna discuss that.
Lauryn Hill dropped the Miseducation of that year too.
I would go with Lauryn Hill.
One of my personal favorites of all time. Huh?
I would go with Lauryn Hill's album. Like that's but we'll bring that up in a second. 99 is Hov.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
2000's M. I don't really want to start with that. Where would be a good one? I feel like 01 is Hov. I don't want to start with him because I still feel like, even though like we were there for that, I've always felt like we got the tail end of Hov, like as far as like being musically conscious and shit. 02 is M. That's the Eminem Show, which Eminem Show I think is a top 5 album. I just don't want to talk about him. And what was it? I actually had a friend who was listening to our shit, and he was like, I guess I came off sounding like mad disrespectful and talking about him. Too many niggas want to talk about him, and I used to be one of those people who, like, I was down to talk about him, like, every fucking day, like, some niggas just talk about him too much. So, like, I'm personally gonna take this opportunity to not fucking talk about him. Like, no disrespect. Like, the man's a legend, the man's a GOAT, like, he's whatever you want to call him, he is all that and everything else. But, like, he low-key, like, he just gets talked about too much. So, you know, like, I just, you know, I'm going to still listen to his album, I still listen to his music, but, you know, it is what it is. So, I think 03 is a good place to start. So, 2003 is 50 Cent. Do we agree?
Yeah, we definitely rolling with that. Let's check the honorable mentions on that one, Jay-Z, Eminem, and T.I.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so that's cool. Let's see what all did he do that. He had Get Rich or Die Trying, back-to-back #1 hits within the club and 21 Questions. Guest spots on Magic Stick. That one way. So yeah, that was a good year for 50.
That's in contention for being like one of the best years in hip hop history. Like what that nigga did in that one single calendar year was fucking crazy. Like that is that is. So I feel like we should bring it up. And I'm gonna kind of bring it up like in with each artist that we bring up. But as far as like an overall theme, do you think there's now this list is no, I can't bring this up. We got to bring this after the fact. So everybody's just gonna tie it with another question. I'm getting ahead of myself. So 0350 that we don't disagree. 04 is T.I. and T.I. is my guy. I don't.
Giving it to 50.
That's. Oh shit. Now. Fuck. Okay, now we actually got to bring it up. So, are we considering this the best rapper every year, or who was running the culture at the time? Because these are two different questions.
I'm saying who was running the culture at the time.
Okay, so it's not just the best rapper every year. Because if we do best rapper every year, I could make a better case for Ti. If we doing controlling the culture, it's 100% 50.
Rapper of the year, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying running the culture is definitely 50.
Yeah, no, 50. I think the 03 to 05, I'm giving him as far as like.
And then, because if you look in 03, in 04 and 05, he got honorable mentions in both years.
Yeah, and like Ti had a hell of a run.
Ti had. We both fuck with Ti, but it's like I don't think it was a point to where he was just running the culture.
100%.
And everybody fucked with Ti, but I just don't think it was. I don't think he was running the culture.
That's fair. So we'll kind of bring that up as far as like the comparing analysis, like who we think is the best rapper that year, and then who was running it. So if we go to 05, Jeezy had best rapper of the year. And I think we both said if it's still just running the culture, we still give it 50-05, right?
Still give it 50-05, yeah.
Are we giving Jeezy best rapper of the year for that year? Because that's Thug Motivation 101. If we both.
Jeezy could, I mean, if you thinking about the niggas, I don't know if we can give Jeezy the best rapper in a year, and I'm a Jeezy fan. But it's like, all right, what are we talking about as far as rapper? Like we talking about somebody that's popular and he got the bars to match it, because Jeezy's bar average. Jeezy just a real nigga, and it's like niggas fuck with him.
True. So here would be the question.
I've always been a Jeezy fan.
So you have Thug Native, and I'm willing to concede to Jeezy only on this basis. So if we go with 50,
actually, let's see. I'll give it to Jeezy just because Soul Survivor came out that year.
That's what I was gonna say. Thug Motivation 101, which we both consider a classic, I think it's pretty unanimous to a classic album. But obviously, when you come off a classic album, niggas want another classic, and like because we didn't get Rich or Die Trying Part 2, like people was kind of disappointed. But Candy Shop was bumping that year. If the Game had the documentary that year,
that was probably one of the best. That was, I would say, one of the best albums that year. But I don't even with the Game, and the Game was like personally probably in my personal top 10 favorites or whatever. But I don't think it was a point where he was running hip hop, where he was running the culture.
and then Common got honorable mention, which Common is Common's a real one. Common can rap his ass off. I don't think there was ever a point in time where niggas was like, yo, Common's one of the best dudes out here. I just don't think that ever happened.
Common released that year. That must have been that year when he dropped that shit with John Legend.
He released B. He signed to Kanye. Was on College Dropout. And
yeah, no, we taking Kanye out of that. Shout out to a fellow Chicago native, but I ain't rolling with that.
Yeah, like Common is one of those dudes. Like Common will always be. He'll have like cult classic shit because like the nigga, like he can just rap his ass off. But I only ever at any point was Common like that dude. All right, 06, Wayne. Carter 2, like Carter 2, like Father Like Son, guest verses including Gimme That, which is my shit. That's one of his best verses. Make It Rain and Jew.
Oh yeah, that was a fire year for Wayne.
That was
Make It Rain and You. I'm rolling. And that's only because I probably debate 50, but they ain't even got 50 on the list, so I don't really know who I'm putting over Wayne. So I'm rolling with Wayne that year.
Honorable mentions was T.I., Pusha T, Lupe Fiasco. don't know if I'm ever giving Pusha T best of the year, and I fucks with I fucks with Pusha T, but I don't think I'm ever giving him best of the year.
When did Lupe drop that year?
That's what I'm about to look up. Food and Liquor, which is dope. That's dope.
Probably a classic album, ain't it?
I don't think the first one is. I think the second one definitely is. Food and Liquor 2.
He definitely, Lupe definitely had one of the best albums that year.
He did. Lupe is one of them.
Like, that, I mean, I don't know. I would have to see what else came out that year, but that could be debated like as the best album they dropped that year. Food and Liquor was dope.
It was.
Lupe like one of them niggas that go like that, like alien conversation though.
He is the 21st century Andre 3000. Like, that nigga's he's just weird, and he's on a whole other, like, Lupe's in the list of, like, niggas you just can't out rap. Like, he not gonna let you get in the booth or go do some shit and be like, oh, I rap Lupe Fiasco. Like, that nigga is crazy.
Oh, we got next. They saying Kanye was the next year.
Oh yeah, Kanye was 07.
One dropped in 07. Can't tell me nothing.
Graduation. So I will say this, and I think this is a very good point. And I think as far as running the culture, Wayne is still running the culture at this point. As best rapper,
probably had the best. He was probably the best rapper because niggas still thought he was writing. And
well, here's the thing. That was the sales battle of 50.
Well, yeah, that was when it's alright. Like I said, niggas still thought he was writing.
Like,
Kanye was penning his own bars, and then realized he had Sci High in the tuck somewhere.
Shout out to Sci. Like,
but no, I think Kanye. Let's see what album was dropped that year. Cause that's one of my favorite Kanye albums. Drop 3 dropped, okay. The Drop 3 was fire.
Hey, yo, okay, so I gotta say this shit, and this is only cause, like, this is my man's. So it talks about, the part of the reason Kanye was put above Wayne was, he out-rapped him with Barry Bonds, right? And I think Barry Bonds is some trash. I don't like either of their verses. I don't like Drake's verse on that shit. I don't like that beat. I think that shit's trash. Unpopular opinion. Or maybe it's popular. I don't know. Y'all let me know. But he's like, they even know, it's like, well, it feels like Wayne took a dip. Otherwise, it was a pretty good year for Wayne, who in 07 released about 100 songs.
Not only that, but the Drop 3 dropped. Mind you, the Drop 3 was a two part, right?
Yeah. Yo.
Yeah, nigga, it ain't no way Kanye ran. It ain't no way Kanye ran shit when the Drop 3 dropped. I'm not rolling. Kanye was mad with the Drop.
Hey, I'm not even sure Kanye had a better. I don't know if Graduation's better than the Drop 3.
Hell no, it ain't. I don't know. It ain't that many albums better than any of Wayne mixtape.
Yo, okay. So what's crazy about this is, like, how many songs do we get a year from a nigga? Like.
Nigga, Drake probably dropped about 10 songs all of fucking 2017. I mean, maybe, if you want to count the playlist album. I mean, the most we got from somebody this year, you figure Chris Brown dropped a 45-song album, and then probably a couple of, however many features. Chris Brown probably the closest nigga because he might have dropped like 60+ songs.
And like, yo,
what you talking about?
Wayne dropped like, that shit is just crazy. How you be? And we've already discussed Wayne, but it's like, that shit is, to have that as like a side note is like, yo, like, it kind of felt like Wayne felt off because Kanye out-rapped him and Barry Bonds. But then you think about the fact nigga dropped 100 songs, the Drop 3 was on that year, like.
You think about the fact that Barry Bonds was ass.
It was. Like, it's like, if Kanye out-rapped, like, I'm not even gonna lie or defend that Kanye out-rapped him on that song, but it was like out-rapping trash. Like,
I like Drake version better than I like their version though.
I don't even like Drake's. Like, I think it's better, but I don't want to.
I mean, I ain't saying like that's my go-to to listen. I like his version better than theirs.
Yeah.
So then we move on to 2008. Wayne is still running it because I'm still saying he ran that shit in '07.
Well, oh
And
wait,
then the Carter 3
is
drop.
the car? This is what's crazy. So
The Carter 3, Dedication 3.
four times.
Four top 20
Yo,
singles off the Carter. Love in This Club, Part 2, My Life, Can't Believe It, Swagger Like Us, Turning Me On. Come on. Shit is
nigga, that
crazy.
shit. Wayne is a different animal. Like the years, and that's why like I say
I'm so
50 you can make
paid.
the case. '03, like that's one of the great one of Wayne's peak years. '06, '07, '08, '09, like one of those years you can throw in with 50 Cent. As far as like that might be the greatest year for any nigga in hip hop. Like Turning Me On was my shit too.
He got first his guest versus Lewis, making his mark, fucking one. All of this shit go platinum. T.I. Swagger Like Us, T-Pain, Can't Believe It.
I'm
I'm
so
so paid. That was
paid.
my shit. That's amazing.
Turning
Turning Me
Me
On,
On, Girls Around the
Around
World,
the World.
Loving This Club too.
Yeah,
He
he
had
got a Melly and
Lollipop,
Lollipop both
which is
dropped
the
that year.
yo
Got
like
Money, Mrs. Officer.
'08 might be the greatest year. Like that might be Wayne's best year. Like
Definitely.
that's ridiculous. I don't want to say definitely, only because like every time like we say like oh for sure like then someone bringing up a song or an album and I'll be like oh that shit was tough
Like
too.
it's
Like
by this point it's I gotta say by this point Weezy's claim to be the greatest living rapper on the Carter 2 no longer seem nearly so audacious. Like, yeah,
yeah,
not believing it now, huh?
like that shit was crazy. Like greatest rapper alive and Chin probably brought him what was possible for rapper. The breaking point he was still rapping, retaining his innate cleverness and style with such intoxicating confidence. Yeah, like niggas didn't want to deal with Wayne. Like Wayne was fucking crazy. '09 is Jay. I think this is the ones I didn't agree with, and I fucked with the Blueprint 3. That's actually I probably have a lot higher on my
This
list
might
than a lot of niggas do.
this might be like looking at some of the shit that came out. This might be one of Kanye's better years. I don't know if he dropped the album, but that's when he had Knock You Down featuring Carrie Hilson. He had Make Her Say with Kid Cudi and Common. He was on. Was Kanye on? Kanye was on Forever.
Yep.
He was on Run This Town where he killed both of those verses.
By the way, we got to bring that up.
Dope.
I want to remember Forever because Forever I want to have a conversation about because I think that song should be way higher than like I don't know where people rank that song. I think that song is a classic, but we're gonna have that conversation a little bit later in this episode. I might not argue this year. I might have had a different J year I argued because I don't think as great as year Kanye had. Because this is so far gone for Drake, which I don't think beats the Blueprint 3. Yeah, not even. No, it don't beat the Blueprint 3.
Not only that, but Drake wasn't even popular enough.
This was a great year for Drake, though. If
Be,
you think about it, so far gone, and he's on the Blueprint 3.
I think they wildin'. Because what year did and I mean you can't give it to him when he featured on the nigga whose album. I mean when he featured on the album with a nigga that is considered number one. What year did No Ceilings drop? Was that 2012? Or was that I mean not 2012, but that had fucking
I think No Ceilings is 2010.
It dropped. Run This Town dropped.
Yeah, I think it's either late 2009 or early 2010.
2010 then, yeah, and if it dropped in 2010, then I'm going right back to Louisiana 2010.
Well, so okay, so and this actually I think is a really good argument. So 2010's Kanye, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Is that better than No Ceilings?
Oh, see, you getting the bias answer from me. No Ceilings is some of the best shit I ever put out. Like that's some of the best rapping done. like just the metaphors and shit. And then I know y'all niggas gonna say, oh, his niggas were better lyricists than Wayne and all shit. I don't give a fuck. That was my shit.
So here's I think what's interesting with the honorable mentions is it's Rick. Oh, okay. I actually like this though. 2010
That
was a
well, yeah,
dope
that
ass
devil in the new
year.
dress, Rick Ross body devil in the new dress, Nicki Minaj. So it's damn near starting to say Kanye was getting bodied on his own shit.
No, Nicki had the best verse on Monster. Nicki
Nicki
absolutely,
had the best verse on Monster, and Rick Ross had the best verse on Devil in the New Dress.
yeah. Like that's Nicki's best verse ever. Like that shit I still can listen to.
Oh,
And,
that's. I'm pretty sure that's common knowledge though.
like I still love this shit with us. One of my favorite lines though is what kind he say? He was like there was the fucking yeah, put in her esophagus. I'm like the pharaoh put in a sarcophagus. He was
Yeah,
it
that
was
shit was fire.
like he said some shit. I'm like, yo, nigga, did you really just like think of that? All right.
I wonder who wrote that bar.
Hey, M was
That was
dope
so
though,
funny.
actually, and I'm gonna give a shout out, even though like I was just like saying I wasn't talking about him. M dropped Recovery. 2010 was a great year for hip hop. like,
Yeah,
like that Recovery, No Ceilings, Dark Twisted Fantasy, like that was some heavy hitters.
Then when we got 2011, when we jumped to 2011, we on Drake now. I'm rolling with this just off the 9 album cuts. Club Paradise, James Money Could Buy. Those two songs are enough for me to roll with Drake. And I know a lot of people may or may not know some of those songs because those weren't mainstream, but those are two like
Not even honorable
maybe a little
mentions.
disrespect. Whatever year he dropped No Ceilings, he should be. It ain't. I ain't debating it. And damn it, whatever year he dropped, fucking Sorry for the Wait.
That's 20. That's okay. So that would actually interfere with Drake because I think that's 2011.
And I don't give a damn. Like I'm rolling. The niggas was waiting on the Carter 4.
And that's what's fucked up because Carter 4 is 2012, right? I want to say Carter 4 is 2012. I could be wrong.
I think it might be 2011. Let me see.
And so here's where and to go 2011 2012, I think Drake is the right answer unless the Carter 4 dropped in 20. If the Carter 4 dropped in 20, if it dropped early 2012, then I'm giving it to Wayne. Because the Carter 4 is crazy. The Carter 4 is only not the best album in that series because 3 and 2 are crazy. Like
The Carter 4 dropped in 2011.
oh shit, hey Drake, you got to go.
And if anything, Drake only got it because Wayne was locked up. The Carter 3 dropped in 08.
yo, holy shit. Like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, and Drake, that's my guy. But, like, they ain't know what, y'all niggas can't even defend, like, the fact. I'll start Drake in 2012, right? So you still got the leftover of Take Care and the hits that he was on in 2012. But we ain't debating. Like, the Carter 4 is fucking crazy. The Carter 4 would be a classic if not for the fact because the Carter 3 and Carter 2 exist. I think that's the only reason why that album is fucking crazy to me. In that though, who's the honorable? I don't even care about the honorable mentions. I don't think no nigga was close to Drake or Wayne at that time. Like they was arguably the two biggest artists, and they was on the same label. Like that was like the peak of Young Money because it was him, Drake, and then Nicki. You could have said like them niggas had it.